and we are finally back in my regular setting, back safe in my home, and back with so many stories, experiences, and scary but amazing and crazy things. If you guys kept up on my ghost adventures, you guys know that some pretty wild things happened in my last few videos. If you haven't seen those videos, highly suggest you check them out. I stayed overnight in a haunted jail on Friday the 13th. I took a trip to one of the most interesting haunted restaurants filled with paintings that just look like human eyes, and they definitely have a crazy story behind them. And I finally took a trip to the Screaming Tunnel. For today's video, however, I really want to talk about that night at the haunted jail hostel in Ottawa. Some really crazy things happened, and I feel like we just really need to sit down, review some of the footage, and talk about the things that I was thinking and feeling in those particular moments and try to make sense of it all. If you're new to my channel though, hi, my name is Hailey. Things are getting weird on here, but they are getting the best kind of weird. So definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button if you do enjoy my videos. And without further ado, let's get into one of the craziest things that has ever in my life been caught on camera. So as you guys know, my mom, Sarah, our cousin, and me, sorry, my dad used to always give me trouble for saying and me when it's supposed to be and I, took a trip all the way to Ottawa. So from Toronto to Ottawa, it's about approximately 5-hour commute. Sarah was awesome enough to drive for us. She was the best. She had like a car full of snacks, which, I mean, come on, the way to somebody's heart is a car full of snacks on a long ride. And we drove all the way to the Ottawa jail hostel. Now, the Ottawa jail hostel used to be the Ottawa jail, and it was actually a real prison. Now, what I learned during my time there was that this jail was predominantly known for being death row, and it was predominantly known for executions of those who had committed such horrific crimes that they felt were entitled for executions. The 9th floor that we stayed on was right above the death row floor, where people went in order to wait to be executed. But the interesting thing that I found out about my floor was that at one point in time, it was a women and children's floor. Their youngest prisoner was actually the age of 6 years old. And if you saw my video, you heard May at the front desk explaining this. Well, I have to say, I believe there are some little kid ghosts inhabiting that 9th floor, because they were playing some pretty crazy tricks on us. Things were literally disappearing and reappearing in places that they could never have been placed. It was just so incredible. And I'm no stranger to things like this. I grew up in a haunted house. I experienced shadow people and ghosts and just crazy things on the daily. That really didn't shock me, but it was cool to see in a different environment. However, the 8th floor was supposed to be off limits. If you were to walk up the stairwell, when you would open up that door, there were always bars across the 8th floor. And I suppose it's because they do a lot of ghost tours on there that are monitored and kind of like, you know, they walk you through everything. But also because it's just not necessarily the safest place, I'm presuming, to be running around. Right next to where we were staying, so on the 9th floor, you know, you came up the stairs, you turned right down the hallway. We were the last door next to this big door at the end of the hallway. We got a little bit curious, you know, we're adventuring. We kind of wanted to see everything this jail had to offer. And when we opened up that door, we realized that we were led straight to the 8th floor. No locks, no warning signs on the door, absolutely nothing but a couple of steps leading us into death row. Now, some of my family has a theory that maybe that door is meant to be locked, but the ghosts led us there. And that could very well be true, because I don't see how they would have it so blocked off and so warned against going in there on every other entrance, but the entrance directly next to our door was completely unlocked. So we decided, why not do a little bit of exploring? Now, I never went onto this floor calling out for anything. I never tested anything. I never tempted anything. I never provoked anything. I never even asked anything if it was there or if there was a sign. I simply explored, was respectful of the space, and what I mean by that is, you know, I wasn't messing with anything or acting rambunctious. We were very loud because the floors down there are so loud. There was no way to tiptoe. It seemed like when you would tiptoe, it was getting louder. But we never went down there with the intention of trying to provoke anything, to do anything for our camera footage. The minute that I got down into this section, you guys, I had the heaviest feeling. A lot of you were commenting, Hailey, you've experienced this stuff your whole life. How could you be afraid? I've told you guys a million times before, I am such a vibe person. I sense things wholeheartedly with my feelings, my thoughts, my emotions, and stepping onto that floor had to have been one of the most sinking feelings I have ever experienced in my whole entire life. Now, I'm gonna be doing a video tomorrow where I talk about the fact that I literally dreamt of one of the deceased criminals. And after doing research, you guys, it just blows my mind because the things that I saw and the research that I did perfectly coincided. But now I'm getting off track. That will be in tomorrow's video. So like I said, we went down there, we were exploring, we had no intentions of reaching out to anything. I think that the main thing that I really wanted, or the main point that I really wanted to get across on this trip, was I was simply exploring these places. I'm really sensitive to paranormal activity, to anything spiritual, to anything to do with the other side. So I wanted to see what naturally would choose to show itself to me, what naturally would choose to communicate with us, and to see if it would. And wow, oh my goodness, you guys, we caught something on camera, two things on camera, that I'm still in shock about to this day. So if you guys watched my sleeping in a haunted jail video, at around 8 minutes, we start to head into the final cells of death row. Now, how death row worked was that the closer you got to your execution date, you were moved another cell down, until eventually you got into the cell that you would wait in to be executed. That was at the end of that hallway where I said I could not go through that doorway. I had the most sinking feeling. I felt something in my head warning me, Hailey, don't go further, Hailey, don't go further, don't go further. And I tend to really jump on these warning signs. You guys know I communicate with my spirit guides. I find that I have a lot of spirits around me that are very kind towards me when it comes to getting me out of situations that are negative. And I wanted to trust in them that I should not go any further. Right after I say these exact words, I don't want to go any further, I just heard somebody. A voice says, leave. And it sounds like the voice of a little girl ghost. I'm gonna roll the clip for you guys right here. Listen very carefully, and then we're gonna continue talking about the scariest part of all. Here, you guys see the rest. No, I'm not going further. I hear somebody. I'm scared, I don't wanna go any. So as you guys can hear, that was completely undeniable. There is no way that we staged that. That is not any of our voices, and we were the only ones on that floor. I can genuinely say just for a moment here that this YouTube channel, my relationship with you guys, creating this type of content means the world to me, and I would never jeopardize my channel, my integrity, my reputation over staging something so obvious. Like, I would never in a million years stage that or have done that. And you guys were the ones who caught it because I've been so focused on editing my videos quickly and getting them up quickly. I filmed the same day. So I have not pre-recorded any of my 31 days of Halloween. I filmed them that day, I edited them that day, and I uploaded them that day. So I missed it even in the editing process. I just cut the clip and I kept going. And when we went back and listened, our reactions were so crazy because we knew something was there. So I want to tell you guys two things about this and then move on to the skull that is seen in the footage. We'll get there in a moment. I very quickly want to talk about my two theories surrounding this. So I thought that I had heard somebody. I thought that I had heard a real voice. And you hear me in the clip say, I just heard somebody. Nobody else had heard anybody because honestly, my mom and Sarah, as they're sensitive, my mom does not really hear things or see things, and she's very afraid when it comes to admitting that these things are real. Definitely more of a believer now than ever, but she's very afraid when it comes to admitting that these things are real. So ghosts don't really talk to her. Sarah has had a lot of experiences, but she's not like me. So I heard a voice 2 seconds before something said leave. And it leads me to believe that perhaps I had actually heard the warning of leave before it was caught on camera. These are the types of things, you guys, that ghost hunters search for, that ghost hunters like pray for, and we caught it so unintentionally, and that's just like crazy. I told you guys, these things are so drawn to me, and it's crazy. Here's my theory. It sounds like a little girl ghost or a little child ghost warning me to leave. Think about this. I'm staying on the 9th floor where women and children were. There's little kids in my room playing cute little tricks, you know, moving my pills and putting them back and taking our room key and moving that. It makes me wonder if one of them had maybe taken a liking to me or a liking to us and followed us onto the 8th floor, knowing that there was something really negative at the end of that and telling us to leave or warning us to leave. The leave doesn't sound demonic or scary. It sounds more of like a warning, but it's so obvious they really tried to get that through to us, and that's what makes me think that maybe it was a child from the 9th floor that had followed us down to the 8th floor and was perhaps afraid for us being down there and warned us to leave. Make sure you guys let me know what you think of that, but now we're gonna move on to the skull that was captured in the background in the jail cell that I passed by. So one of you had tweeted this to me, and I just couldn't believe my eyes, and I had to go back and replay this second over and over and over again. So at 9 minutes and 27 seconds, I'm walking past the door frame. This is approximately a minute after I said I didn't want to go any further. I had walked a little bit further, but I still didn't go past that one door frame. Right as I pass one of the jail cells, Sarah does have a flashlight ahead of us, and she shines the flashlight into the jail cell accidentally as I'm walking by, and what appears to be a skull or multiple skulls appears in the background. I'm gonna roll the clip right now.
And then they said they get moved to a little bit smaller after they die, or
When they're about to die.
when they're about to die.
I'm like afraid that that gate's gonna close because we're not supposed to be down here. Now, I had looked in all of those jail cells with my flashlight, and the walls were just blank. There was nothing on the wall or no indentations on the wall that could have made that skull. Whether or not it's the lighting playing tricks on us, I could not tell you, but I found it to be so chilling when I looked at it that I really, really wanted to incorporate it in today's kind of breakdown catching ghosts on camera video. I'm definitely gonna do a video breaking down the experiences that we had, because some were obviously had off camera. I wasn't rolling 24/7, but we did catch some pretty crazy stuff while I was rolling, and I really wanted to come on here and share it with those of you who might not have had the chance to have seen or heard that. We were not alone. Typically, I'm not afraid of spirits, but I have to say on that 8th floor, it got the best of me, and I think it's because I'm the most energy sensitive out of all three of us, and I just sensed dread, and I sensed the feeling of something not wanting us down there, and I really didn't want to mess with that whatsoever. When I ran, I forget what timestamp it's at, but I actually run. And I never run from paranormal things, never. I ran, I was so out of there. I had heard what sounded like somebody being like tortured. And like I wasn't the only one who heard that, but once someone like pointed it out, I was like, that's exactly what it was, saying, help me. And I ran so quickly because it just didn't feel good, you guys. It was not a good feeling place. And I don't like to mess with negative things. I like to stay on a positive. I like to stay on a high vibration. I really like to keep my faith strong. So the minute that I start to feel like my, not safety is jeopardized, but that I'm around something that doesn't vibrate on that level, woo, your girl's out of there. I don't know, you guys. Definitely let me know in the comments below what you think of these two different clips. I can genuinely say, like I said, these are authentic. These are completely real. Nothing has been altered. Nothing has been messed with. We are just as shocked as you guys. But hey, I could not be happier that I came back with some sort of evidence that we weren't just hearing things, we weren't just feeling things. There was really something down there. If you guys enjoyed today's video but you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button. Tomorrow's video gets really crazy really quick, so you definitely don't want to miss it. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It makes my heart super, super happy, so please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until tomorrow, I love you.